The ball is rolling. Match day 6 here at the Olympiastadion. The hosts Hertha Berlin struggling for points at the wrong end of the table. Up against Eintracht Braunschweig, just a point above them in the table, also looking to kick-start their season. Things haven't gone to plan for Pal Dardai. This is an opportunity against a team that is also looking to find its feet in the early stages of this campaign to get a confidence-boosting win. Today's visiting team, Eintracht Braunschweig, in their traditional yellow and blue, attacking the goal down to our right in this first period. And an early chance for Hertha to push forward here on the break. Braunschweig committing plenty of numbers forward for that foray. In the end, they're able to slow things down. Early couple of touches for Haris Tabakovic. New summer signing from Austria Wien. Comes into this match with 2 braces in his last 2 games. Top scorer for the club so far this season. In fact, Haris Tabakovic has more goals than the whole of the Braunschweig squad so far this season. Braunschweig, well, no team has scored fewer this term. Just 3 goals the return in front of goal. And there are 5 matches coming into today's encounter. And thankfully for Braunschweig coach Jens Hertha, his defence has been solid. In fact, one of the meanest defence in the league today. Be a real test for Hertha Berlin's new look front line. Fabian Rees, one of the other new faces at Hertha Berlin this summer. In fact, one of many new faces, as there have been plenty of dealings going on. He's arrived from Kiel, where he had a fantastic season last time out, scoring 11 and setting up a further 10. He plays to the left of Tabakovic today. On the right, youngster Martin Winkler. Two changes made by Pal Dardai for this game after the 10-goal thriller against Magdeburg before the international break. Andreas Bouchalakis makes his first start for the club since arriving from Olympiakos in the summer. And in between the sticks is Robert Quasigroch. I've already seen him with a couple of touches. The 19-year-old making his first start for the seniors in his career. Braunschweig on the front foot once again. Not the best of deliveries, slightly overhit. Finally cleared by Hertha. Not very far though. Lively opening. 3-4 minutes here. And a free kick for the hosts. No more smiles on the face of Pal Dardai. Now he's in business mode. He knows what's at stake here. He knows that he needs his team certainly to shore things up at the back, but more importantly, just get points on the board. Here they come again, stretching Braunschweig. This is Riese. Just as Hertha Berlin have made 2 changes for today's match, so have Braunschweig. Big Finnish centre-back Robert Ivanov misses out. He starts on the bench, but suffered from sickness during the break, and that's why Jan Hendricks Marx has come in to take his place. Start for Loni, Torre Johan Helgason man with 20 on his back. He starts on the right-hand side. He came on for his debut for the club to score the equaliser against St. Pauli on matchday 5, earning the side a point, and he's been rewarded for a start today. He takes the place of Danilo Weber, who is also among the substitutes. There is Martin Winkler, just trying to tease the ball in towards the near post for a run-up. Ron Torben Hoffmann, today's keeper for Braunschweig. Ever present so far this season. Just one clean sheet so far. Good sliding challenge. Brian Berendt getting himself in the way. Hertha Berlin not shy of coming forward in the opening exchanges here. They've got themselves the first corner to be taken by Palko Dardai. One of 3 Dardais among the playing staff. An outswinger from him. A call of calm there from Michal Garbovnik. As again, they'll come again. But won't get a free kick. It's Jeremy Dujak who's gone down here. Certainly contact with the side of his head as Anthony Uja tried to stop him in his tracks. Not enough for today's referee Marco Fritz to stop play and award a free kick to the home team. This is the 15th encounter in the second tier between the two teams. And it's an even split of 4 wins apiece with 6 draws. As again, Riese does well to get his cross in from the left. And finally we have a shot on target, something for Ron Torben Hoffmann to do. There's been plenty of promise in Hertha's build-up play. Most of the good work coming on this near side with Fabian Riese looking to stretch his legs and fire in the crosses. One in behind the Hertha defence this time. It's good positioning from Tony Leisner. And just moments after the first corner of the game, going Hertha's way, Braunschweig got their own chance to deliver. Here again, the good delivery from Fabian Riese. He started very brightly indeed, and in the end, that's a bit of a tame effort from Martin Winkler, straight at the keeper. Robin Krause, stand-in captain, as Nicolau is still suspended. And he can't beat the first man. Now pump forward again, almost a very handy ball straight into the penalty area. It's just a little bit too much there for Florian Kruger. Another loanee out on show this afternoon. He's in from Groningen in the Netherlands until the end of the season. full stretch. Still unable to get there. Minutes in, goalless. One decent chance for Hertha Berlin so far. But a very open game. Braunschweig also enjoying a spell on the ball and a little bit of possession in the attacking third. Neither team happy to sit in possession. And here space opens up. Now on the right-hand side for Hertha Berlin. Riese running through the centre. He's an option to cut it back. That's a terrific bit of goalkeeping from Ron-Torben Hoffmann. He read it so well, perhaps had a little bit of fortune as well, but put himself in exactly the right place to potentially stop the shot, but also the cutback. Now the game really getting stretched. Gabovnik just gets there first. But that's poorly given away by Hertha Berlin. Both of these teams clearly determined to get off to a promising start in this match to prove to their fans that plenty more is to come from them. And it has to be said, much more expectation from the home fans. As here we'll see again, that's where the cutback comes. But the outstretched right leg of Ron-Torben Hoffmann is in the perfect position. A little bit scrappy, and again the ball cheaply given away by Hertha Berlin. They survive the next scare and they're on the break again. Breathless stuff here as they've got a runner on this near side. It's Riese once more. And they may well still use him. Waiting at the far post. But the cross doesn't come. Chance for Braunschweig to gather themselves. Gabovnik. His cross is dealt with. 22-year-old Pole was on loan last season at Fortuna Düsseldorf from Brighton. Now he's made a permanent move to Bundesliga 2 to join the capital club. Very versatile player. More comfortable at left back because that's his preferred foot. As you can see, he is starting over on the right-hand side with Dujak. Initially expected to start on the right, he's on the left. Tony Leisner, an experienced head at the back of the Hertha Berlin defensive line. Jack. Right one challenge. Still keeps the ball moving forward here. Gabovnik again tries to loft one into the centre. Riese puts the ball one way, decides to go the other, but ends up running out of pitch. A very exciting player, the left-sided midfielder. He's played almost every single minute since match day 1. Scored his first goal for the club in the Magdeburg loss. A shrewd bit of business by Paul Dardai and his backroom staff. And into the box. They get a shot away once more. More work for Ron Torben Hoffmann to do. Certainly the busier of the two keepers, Hoffmann. That was to be expected. Hertha at home, being cheered on by their very strong and vocal home support. A penalty box scramble here. It's not clear. In the end, there's a block. Still not clear. And finally, Braunschweig can clear their lines. A man has left down inside the box here. And looks like we're going to have an interruption in play. And it's two men who go down, the second of which is Robin Krause, the stand-in captain. But he's quite happy to run it off. You have to wind the clock back quite a long way to find the last encounter between these two teams in Bundesliga 2. It's in 2013. That was the second season in which Hertha Berlin went straight back up as champions. 3-0 it ended then. Back when Ronnie was calling the shots. 2 direct free kicks from the Brazilian. His 15th and 16th goals of the season. Sandwiched in between was one for Adrian Ramos. Victory forged in South America for Hertha that day. Again, more prone bodies for the referee to deal with. And again, Robin Krause. He really is in the wars in the opening exchanges here. Oh, studs into the top of the boot where there's absolutely no protection at all. You can understand why he went to ground. Martin Dardai, one of 2 Dardais currently on the pitch. One in the technical area. Just confirming to referee Marco Fritz that there was no intent there to cause injury. I'm sure there wasn't. Braunschweig have pushed up here. Back line very high indeed. Invitation to the Hertha front line if they can win back possession. Confident passing though from the guests. And there's Hoffmann also coming up to join the centre backs. It hasn't been all doom and gloom for Braunschweig, despite their standing in the table the early stages of this new season. They have been much better at the back so far. I did mention earlier on that Hoffmann has only kept 1 clean sheet in his opening 5 games, but still 6 conceded in the opening 5. Makes it the 3rd best defensive record in the league. There have been so many goals scored in the opening 5 and a bit match days. And once again, Bundesliga 2 proving to everyone how entertaining it can be week in, week out, with ridiculous scores lines sometimes. Of course, you only have to look back to see another ridiculous scoreline, but more on that later, as they've got a chance to break the deadlock here. In the end, it's pushed just a touch too far. And that is fantastic defending. Donko getting the ball clear, and now a chance to break. Uja wants it played into his path as he stretches his legs. But a chance to go it alone here for Braunschweig. In the end, wonderful defending from Toni Leistner, using all of his experience to just nudge his man out of the way, Florian Kruger, with no reply. An excellent run from the 24-year-old forward. But he waits, he bides his time, and he steps in when necessary, does Leistner. Excellently done, but here the chance just a moment before that. Beautiful ball into the centre, just a touch too heavy. And Palko Dardai was unable to connect. Haris Tabakovic there looking to provide. He's already got a couple of assists to his name since joining from Austria Wien in the summer. And still, this game remains very open indeed. The next ball into the box, a fantastic opportunity, and the only man to rise in the centre, Johan Gómez, puts it over. What a chance that is. The Hertha Berlin defence absolutely stationary. The Texan-born forward has yet to score this season. But he has been a regular fixture from the off. Again, Braunschweig have got space here. And again, they go for the delivery into the box. A nice ball cut back. Toni Leistner, again well positioned. A moment here perhaps for Hertha Berlin to just put their foot on the ball, calm things down, take a little bit of the tempo out of the game, and try and establish some kind of control on proceedings. It is Marc-Oliver Kempf. Now to Riese. He's got away from his man, but he's quite happy to settle for the corner instead of trying whipping across. Lee has been the outlet so far for Hertha in this first half. Most of their attacks coming down this near flank. Understandable, he was directly involved in 21 goals in his 33 games last season at Kiel. Dardai with the corner. Gabovnik, one of the pacier players in the Hertha lineup. That's why he's so deep as the ball is chips in the end, tipped over the bar by Hoffmann. Well, that one certainly almost caught him off guard. Didn't look dangerous at first. The ball from Winkler, surely not a shot. But Hoffmann able to just get his fingertips to it. Yet another corner here for Riese. Short to Palko Dardai. It's an attacking throw for Hertha. Leistner put under pressure by the Braunschweig front line. As soon as they get the ball under control, Hertha send it to the left flank again to Riese. It's Gómez, a man with the chance just a few moments ago. The last second tier league encounter between these two teams, as I mentioned, back in 2013. You don't have to look too far back to see the last encounter between these two teams, which of course was in the Cup. The first round of the Cup, to be more precise, last season. Hertha Berlin lost on penalties. That doesn't really tell the full tale of the game, as it was 4-4 after extra time. Hertha were 2-0 up in that game, then 3-2 down, then 4-3 up, only to concede late on and be forced to a penalty shootout, which of course they lost. The cup tie came after another cup tie back in 2020. That one ended 5-4 to Braunschweig. Those are in fact the last two games between these two clubs. 17 goals in total. The way the sides have been attacking today. Can't see this one ending goalless. Now then, the first dangerously placed free kick here. And it's for Braunschweig. Bernd in deep discussions about what exactly they want to do with this. Hasan Kuracay, centre-back, also present. Going to have to be something incredibly special if this is going to go on target and get the better of Fazi Groch. I know he's making his debut. I know he's only 19 years old, but still, this is quite a distance out. Bernd does take it, drives it straight into the wall. Chance still alive here. Good parry from the youngster. The pace brought back here. Marco Fritz waited for just a moment there to see if there was going to be an advantage. It's the first coming together that he wasn't happy with. Sensible refereeing. Riese, excellent first touch from him. Cuts inside, on his right, goes for goal. Not such a stinging shot, or at least I thought it was at first. Hoffmann really should have done better with that. It's lucky that the follow-up wasn't too dangerous, but it's still alive here, and there's nothing he can do about that. Almost point-blank range. And who else would it be? Tabakovic scores yet again. Half an hour played. Hertha Berlin have their lead. And you've got to say, Hoffmann has got to take a little bit of responsibility for that. The defence totally switched off, just like we saw a few moments ago with Johan Gómez down the other end. But no mistake from close range here. Nothing that Hoffmann can do about that. Haris Tabakovic almost at point-blank range, anywhere he puts it instead of straight at the keeper. That's going to be the goal that breaks their deadlock. 5 goals for the season. What a summer signing he is turning out to be. VAR just making sure everything is in order. And play is being brought back here. Well, offside the decision. No goal for Tabakovic. No goal to break the deadlock. And hopefully we are going to see a little bit of a breakdown of that decision. Braunschweig again coming forward. They haven't at all been shy of coming here and testing the Hertha defence. Now here we'll see the build-up for the goal. And in the build-up, we did have Haris Tabakovic in an offside position, so play should have stopped there. Already complaints from the Braunschweig back line about the Swiss forward being in an offside position. Well, of course, it's a second phase of play. But the decision has been made by the officials. No goal. It doesn't stand. That's a tough one. I think the argument, of course, from an Eintracht Braunschweig perspective would be that they were so distracted that the offside hadn't been given that they switched off for a moment. They allowed that second ball to come in and then the cross for the header. And play to the whistle, of course, is the old adage. But it has been clarified. It has been decided. It's now down to the players to get on with things, as that is an arm into the face, and there's no prizes for guessing who again is down on the deck. It's the first yellow of the game. Alcor Dardai. That's the decision, I think, that has been given. Or perhaps it was for Risa just before, as he received the ball through. There you can see in the middle the appeals coming from the visiting defence. There they stood motionless as Tabakovic headed home. Now, just a reminder, of course, in the modern age, you can celebrate as much as you want, but there's always a chance there's going to be a review. There's always a chance that some infringement will be spotted. Very, very tight margins. Of course, they can be determined by a computer and lines drawn on the screen. Here we'll see the collision that led to the first yellow. That's a really uncomfortable one for Krause. He's been really on the receiving end from the very start of this match. It's the third time he's down and has received a little bit of attention from the referee and the medical staff. Excellent running here from Donkor. Was unhappy, suggesting that his shirt was pulled, and certainly it was by Garbovnik. Referee Fritz not interested, despite the protests from the 25-year-old left-sided midfielder. Missed match day 1 through suspension because he was sent off on match day 34 last season in the Hansa Rostock loss. that has started every single game since then, and who certainly does put in a shift week in, week out. Hertha. A familiar ball towards Riese. Ten minutes remaining in this first half. It looked like there was going to be a lead for Hertha to hold on to and take into the half-time break. Ruled out for offside. Haris Tabakovic down to 4 goals for the season instead of 5. And he has been a threat throughout. Hertha Berlin coming up with the better of the chances in this game. With Braunschweig certainly doing enough to I'll keep the Hertha defence on their toes. Three defeats in 5 games this season for Braunschweig. Lost the opening 2 matches of the season against Kiel and Magdeburg. They came up with a magnificent victory against Schalke. Remember, one of the other relegated teams along with Hertha Berlin. And it all came undone against Karlsruhe as they lost by 2-0. Also lost their captain to a red card. Riese with another ball in. This time it'll be poked home, and he'll be hoping this time it stands. Haris Tabakovic with almost a carbon copy of the goal that was ruled out just a few moments ago. And of course, a shrug of the shoulders from Ron Torben Hoffmann. Did the defenders not learn from the first time around? Riese has been a thorn in Braunschweig's side for the whole of this game, and it's apt that he is involved. But he had it all to do here. His back to goal, 2 men on him, and he's still able to find that half a yard. And really, what is the Braunschweig defence doing? Absolutely motionless as it comes into Tabakovic. Well, he puts it straight to the keeper this time, but he's gifted a second chance, and he takes it. Well, maybe that's being a little bit harsh on Hoffmann. He did have to react in a fraction of a second. In fact, from that angle, you see, really, he does pretty well to keep the first one out. But the defenders don't react. This man does. It is a 1-0. But will it stand? Well, everything going on behind the scenes. And just a moment of pause from referee Marco Fritz. So we've got a change here. Alko Dardai, I think, is coming off. A first half substitution as he's being replaced by his brother. Well, Dardai makes the call to change Dardai and bring on Dardai. It gets a little bit confusing, but the boss keeping it in the family. Ben Dardai, just 17 years of age. That makes him comfortably the youngest man on the pitch. He's making his 5th senior app now for the club in his first appearance this season. So Hertha have their lead. It's Tabakovic once again. 5 goals since joining. The home club exactly where they want to be, with half-time looming. And both of these teams investing plenty of energy and effort into this first half. There has barely been a break. In fact, the only breaks that we've really had are for the injuries picked up by Robin Krause. Otherwise, it's been non-stop. Hertha with the better of the chances and capitalising on a stationary Eintracht Braunschweig defence. Not over by any stretch of the imagination, but a very promising position for the home team. But it's not scoring goals that they've struggled with this season, Hertha Berlin. It's conceding. They really have let them in one after the other over the course of this campaign already. That's where they need to improve most. With their 6-4 defeat at the hands of Magdeburg last time out, Hertha set a new record to be the only team ever in Bundesliga 2 to have led 4 times in a game and still come away with nothing. Very dubious record to hold. It's never ever happened in 19,000 plus second-tier games in Germany. But in his press conference before the game, Pal Dardai said, good, we've processed it, we've put it behind ourselves. We're focusing on what's ahead and not dwelling on the past. There were too many individuals. Let's just get our sights on Braunschweig and maximum points. It's been a good showing so far from the young debutant between the sticks, Robert Fazigroch. He's been provided a fair amount of protection. There we can see. It's the original ball forward to Risa. And here, the chance moments later. It wasn't offside and there were no infringements taken to break the deadlock. Now they've got another chance. Risa clips it up. He's claiming handball there when really he could have gone for goal himself. And Sebastian Griesbach insists he's entirely innocent. Oh, what on earth is he supposed to do with his arms there? He's got them relatively close to his body. It's almost point-blank range. There you can see it flicks out just after the ball has struck it. Makes it look worse than it actually was. And again, VAR is called into action. Credit to Sebastian Griesbach. He knew the situation he was in. He certainly clasped his hands behind his back to ensure there wasn't a trailing arm. But just as Risa flicked the ball up, he seemed to let go. And that left arm of his flailed out. Wasn't tucked behind his back. And now it's going to be reviewed on the pitchside monitor by Fritz. It could be a double blow for Braunschweig just before the break. Conceding in the 38th minute, Tabakovic for the second time of asking. They concede a penalty here. Is that arm in an unnatural position? Certainly flicks out at the very wrong moment. And it gives Braunschweig a distinct advantage. And it's been given. And a head-in-your-hands moment for Jens Hertel. It's an understandable decision. Griesbach will protest his innocence until the sun goes down. And he is right. He was holding his arms behind his back. But then the one arm came out. He did it all right. He was pushing Risa wide. He wasn't expanding his body by flailing his arms around. But at that split moment, when Riese decided to play the ball, his left arm did spring out. Terrible timing. You got to feel sorry for the defensive midfielder. He tried his best, and from point-blank range, it's fired at his arm. He has to accept the decision. Hoffmann did mightily well to deny Tomakovic when that first ball came in. Couldn't do anything about the follow-up as it fell to the feet of the Swiss forward. And now he's got a chance to double up. The number 25 to make it 6 goals for the season and a brace. And he's done it. 2 braces in 2 games coming into this match. And now he has scored another. Fantastic stuff for Haris Tomakovic. He remains cool from the spot. And he has given the hosts here a 2-0 lead heading into the break. He cannot stop scoring. A run-up that is now typical for penalties these days. Just waiting to see if there's going to be a reaction from the keeper. And he notices a little lean towards the right and comfortably rolls it in. Doesn't need to put any power on it. Into the other corner. Tomakovic, 6 goals from the season. A brace in each of his last 3 games. And this one isn't even over yet. Haris Tomakovic quickly shaping up to be the signing of the summer in Bundesliga 2. Braunschweig, for all of their huff and puff, their positivity, their determination to not be rolled over here and take the game to their hosts, they find themselves 2-0 down. That's tough to take. Martin Winkler, a stud into the toes. He's now back on his feet and moving freely. And surely we won't have a great deal of time now added on at the end of this first half, just for the couple of VAR checks and a couple of knocks picked up by Robin Krause. Oh, and of course, the substitution called by Paul Dardai. 3 minutes have already passed. Free kick here to Hertha Berlin. An excellent reaction from the team of Paul Dardai after that. You could even argue embarrassing defeat on match day 5. Certainly in the manner in which they lost was very disappointing. Leading and then allowing an equaliser, leading again and allowing an equaliser, and that happening 2 more times, only to run out 6-4 losers. Would they have reacted perfectly in this match? Braunschweig aren't easy to roll over. Already mentioned how solid they have been at times this season. Today, not so impressive at the back, and that will really bother Jens Hertel. He mentioned it explicitly in his press conference that he sets his teams to go out there, and the priority is be tight at the back and then build on that. And that's not really what they've been able to do today. They've allowed chances to the home team. And really, the opening goal, well, that shouldn't have happened. At least Braunschweig could have done a lot more to try and prevent Tomakovic from getting that header so close to the goal. You can't say there wasn't a warning sign, as he did it just moments previously, only for it to be ruled out for an offside decision in the build-up play. 5 minutes of time added on. Of course, the goal was scored already in time added on, so this is starting to trickle on. Attacking throw for Braunschweig. Surely they only have a couple of seconds more to pump this in towards the box. Easily dealt with by the Hertha defence. Out for another attacking throw. How much more time does Marco Fritz want to add here? Marks again with the ball in his hands. That will go safely back to Hoffmann. Oh, there it is. 6 minutes of time in the end. Added on at the end of the first 45. That really was breathless. Plenty of action, plenty of talking points. A penalty. A goal that was ruled out. And a brace already for Haris Tabakovic. What a fine start to his Hertha Berlin career he is having. Absolutely stunning. One from open play, one from the spot, keeping his cool in both situations. And plenty of work done to his left by Fabian Rieser, who's been involved in practically everything that Hertha have done well up front today. Real disappointing for Braunschweig. The second 45 minutes are up and running here on match day 6 at the Olympiastadion in Berlin. Hertha Berlin leading by 2-0, and again it's Haris Tabakovic, the summer signing, who is responsible for that. His third brace in 3 outings for the club. Will he go on to get a hat-trick? We shall see. He hasn't been brought off yet. There's still work for him to do. But the focus really at the start of this second half is on how Braunschweig react to going behind with one half of football to come up with 2 goals. Hertha Berlin don't need to force the issue. They were leading by 2-0 against Greuther Fürth at half-time. In their only victory of the season so far, they went on to run out 5-0 winners. And here, they're in a very commanding position. They don't need to force the issue. They can slow things down if they want. They can take control of proceedings. Let's see what they've got up their sleeve. 2 changes at the start of the second half for Braunschweig, as Jens Hertel has decided to ring the changes. He has brought on attacking midfielder Keita Endo. The Japanese comes on for Jan-Hendrik Marx, an attacking midfielder taking the place of a centre-back, or at least stand-in centre-back today. Clear sign of intent from Hertel. His team needs to go out and really now take this game to the home team. The other change is the introduction of a forward. Or why not if you are chasing the match? Kaan Kalisana is on, and he has taken the place of the young loanee from Iceland, Tore Johan Helgason, who really didn't make much of an impact on his first start for the club, despite getting himself a goal on his first appearance for the club against Pauli. Kaliskana and Endo on for Helgason and Marx. It is Eintracht Braunschweig attacking the goal to our left in this second period. No changes made by Paul Dardai at the start of the second half, but he was forced into a change in the first half as he brought off his son and brought on another son. Palko Dardai replaced by Ben Dardai. Other than that, it's as you were for Hertha. When asked about whether he saw this encounter as two teams on the same level as one another, given their standing in the table, Braunschweig boss Jens Hertha said, take a look at their squad, take a look at the kind of players that they can bring in. I'm sure with a little bit of a hint towards the likes of Haris Tabakovic and Fabian Riese. Clearly, Hertha came into this match as the favourites, despite their troubles, slumping to 4 defeats in their opening 5 games of the campaign. Now they're in a commanding role. And here we can see something that really Hertha didn't do before the break, and that's build it up with patience slowly from the back. Far more touches for Robert Krasigroch in the opening exchanges of this second half than he had in the first. And here's Sebastian Griesbeck, a man who was guilty of allowing his arm to just creep away from his body for that penalty to be awarded. There's a man who clipped it up to him. This one's come through to Tabakovic. There's no flag at the moment. He goes round the keeper, and that's his hat-trick. And the flag is up. Well, you could see immediately he was trying to hold himself back and not celebrate. Let's see how far off he was. Oh, only just a little bit. But again, those two combining. Fabian Riese. Even got the feeling from the way Tabakovic was charging forward that he knew that he was offside and it wasn't going to count anyway. But he remained professional. Fair enough. That's what you've got to do. How was he to know for sure? Did the right thing. Second goal of his ruled out today for an offside decision as that one comes back off the frame of the goal. Totally unexpected. And with Robert Krasigroch totally beaten. Where did that one come from? Oh, it's a massive deflection, as we can see now from the angle behind the goal. A real let off the hook there for Hertha Berlin. And what a boon that would have been for Braunschweig to claw a goal back inside the opening 10 minutes of this second half. Sometimes when you're at the wrong end of the table, all you need is a little bit of luck. And that's perhaps what Hertha Berlin got with that penalty call. It was the right decision, don't get me wrong, but it was so close. And there you can see Krasigroch scrambling back. He was well beaten. But credit there to Hertha Berlin's defence. Their alert to the danger. And it was Marc-Oliver Kempf who was able to clear the danger. That's what Braunschweig failed to do when this man delivered the ball into Tabakovic for the opener. They all stood motionless and allowed Tabakovic to sweep up and get his side ahead. Now there's a man through here in the centre. Chested down. A chance here on the volley. What an effort that is. Excellent skill and technique there from Martin Winkler. He's had much less of a say in this match than Riese over on the left-hand side, but he comes up with almost a dream goal. Donko couldn't do anything about that as he lost his footing. That would have been something magnificent. Surely a third goal would rule out any kind of comeback for Braunschweig. This game really has taken on a whole new dynamic for this second half. Both of the teams going for it in the first half. Both of the teams desperate to kickstart their seasons. But in the second half, with Hertha Berlin in the driving seat, they will take their chances when they feel they want to take their chances. Not going to be rushing into any dangerous positions. Whereas Braunschweig, they have to come out and attack. They've made their attacking changes. They're lighter at the back, and they will leave spaces available for Hertha to exploit. Here they come again, the home team. Risa. Krause. Tucked back, and that'll be a yellow card. Bukalakis on his first start for the club, rightly receiving an official warning from referee Fritz. Bukalakis, a six-time Greek champion with Olympiakos, made his move this summer. At his debut in the matchday 5 loss to Magdeburg was a second-half substitution. It was a late move in the transfer window. That's why he wasn't involved in the opening couple of match days this term. Uja, what a fine effort that is! And at full stretch, Kvasigroch gets 2 fists on it to knock it past his far post. Signs of life from Anthony Uja, who has had a largely frustrating match so far this afternoon. Started every single game so far. Referee Fritz acting as peacemaker in the box. Now this corner can be taken. And still plenty of shoving going on as the players jockey for position. Robin Krause, an outswinger from him, a good delivery too, headed away by Kempf. Safety first for Hertha Berlin with everyone back. Next cross and the next corner. Braunschweig gradually rising to the occasion here, rising to the task that they face. Krause once more. And again, hacked clear with no runner there for Hertha Berlin. They're packing the box with their own players. Don't go with the next ball in. Now they've got a runner. 3 against 3 for a moment here for Hertha Berlin. The goal scorer puts it across. But that's not the kind of delivery that he wanted to pick out. Fabian Riese and Tabakovic clearly understanding how good a chance that was. And Riese perhaps a little bit disappointed as he's been putting in tidy balls all afternoon for Tabakovic to attack. He could have at least expected the Swiss forward to return the favour once. And I do feel those two are going to combine over and over again this season if they can remain injury-free. I was mentioned by one of the journalists in the press conference of Hertha Berlin with Paul Dardai and the sporting director Benjamin Weber that it's kind of like a new start to the season once the transfer window is closed and the international break is out the way. Got their business done, Hertha Berlin, bringing a host of players. Well, they didn't hit the ground running at all, failing to score in their opening 3 matches. Then the floodgates opened against Greuther Fürth with that 5-0 win. And even though they lost against Magdeburg, they still managed 4 goals. Today they're on 2. If they carry on playing like this, if they carry on finding openings, that could well be more. This is Donko. A good ball in from him. And will prevent that one from going out for a throw. Not the best of balls, though, as he tries to link up with Gómez. Cleared by Kempf. So it's Donker again. Dispossessed very tidily. Krause. Kruger. And a cross that isn't going to trouble anyone. Credit to the travelling fans. They are doing their best to make themselves heard there at this magnificent arena. Well over 40,000 fans. 5,500 of them at least here in support of the team out there in blue and yellow. They did have their troubles, Braunschweig, last season after getting promotion from the third tier. Finished second to seal automatic promotion. Ended up 15th, 2 points ahead of Bielefeld in the relegation playoff place. Survival was the key. And that's what they did, avoiding relegation directly after being promoted. This season is about consolidating their position now in the second tier. Want to be in a more comfortable position come the end of the season than looking over their shoulders as to who's going to be picking up points and maybe closing the gap on them. Ended up losing 16 of their 34 games last term, winning only 9. They were outscored by all but 4 of the teams in the league. Had the 4th worst defensive record as well. Jens Hertha has worked on the defensive side of things at least. Today hasn't been great, hasn't been disastrous either, though. And as is always the case, there is work to do for the managers in Bundesliga too. Such is the competitive edge at this level. In fact, that's something that Paul Dardai mentioned in his press conference. He was approached by one of his players who said to him, hey, up in the Bundesliga, things were good, things were chilled. But down here in Bundesliga 2, it is intense. You barely get a time to think, let alone recover. It is much more physical. It really does drain these players over a long, hard season. Everyone battling in every single game. Braunschweig doing well in this second half. But they need to threaten the goal of Robert Krasi-Grochmoor. These changes, I'm sure, are going to be readied by Paul Dardai. Or in Niederlech now. Possible replacement for Haris Tabakovic. As we've got a change going on here too. Fabio Kaufmann is going to come on, a right-sided midfielder. I've already seen the attacking changes made by Jens Hertha. Is he going to go even more attacking than this, or is he just going to give somebody a rest, get some fresh legs on? Because the candidate could be Florian Kruger or perhaps Johan Gómez, players who have been operating the wide positions for Braunschweig this afternoon. This is Ben Stardai. Black is out wide to Riese. Again, Hertha happy to slow down the tempo of this match. Up goes the flag from the official on the far side to indicate change is going to be made, and it is going to be Florian Krüger, the loanee from Groningen, who comes off. On comes Fabio Kaufmann, returned from Karlsruhe in 2022 after one season away. Had started all but one game this season coming into this match. Now he gets to see what he can provide off the bench. Sebastian Griesbeck guilty of a flailing arm in the first half. And they're on the receiving end of one in this second. "25 minutes left to play here at the Olympiastadion." I mentioned at the start of today's commentary that a win for Braunschweig would see them go level with Paderborn, Elversberg, Schalke in the table. For Hertha, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but they are up to 15th in the live table as it stands. What an opening there, but Risa can't pick out the right ball. Good covering from the Braunschweig defence. Tabakovic, understandably, the man waiting in the centre for the delivery. And again, he has his cross blocked. Wouldn't be surprised if Pal Dardai decides to take Risa off before the full-time whistle comes today. He has been all action from the very start. I can imagine he is absolutely exhausted. And the focal point, or at least the starting point for every single attack today, except for this one, as that's a lovely ball fed through from the scorer of two, Tabakovic, into the feet of Karbovnik. He may be a left-back by trade, but he certainly has very good control of the ball, can play comfortably well in midfield too. Was a regular for Fortuna Düsseldorf last term on loan from Brighton, scoring a goal and getting 5 assists. So as it stands in the live table, Hertha 15th on 6 points, still a point behind Schalke, Elversberg and Paderborn. Braunschweig, well, they will remain just 3 points above bottom spot, currently occupied by Osnabrück, unless they can change something here. Free kick as Fabio Kaufmann is brought tumbling. Martin Winkler with the foul. A goal, of course, for Braunschweig in the next 10-15 minutes would set us up very nicely. From a neutral perspective, of course, I'm sure the Hertha Berlin fans out there will be delighted if they can keep a clean sheet for just the second time this season. Roman Krause on set-piece duty all afternoon, turned behind here. It's going to be a corner kick for Braunschweig. He's got a good leap on him, Anthony Uja, despite not being the most imposing of forwards. Does his best work with the ball on the deck. Just one goal for him so far this season, that in the 2-1 loss to Magdeburg on match day 2. Krause has made his way across the pitch to follow up with this corner. Headed clear by Kempf. It's easy to pick out with his blonde locks. Now back to Hoffmann. Another substitution is going to be made, possibly several substitutions, and here they come. So, 3 numbers held up as Bilal Hussein comes on to make his debut for the club. The 23-year-old central midfielder coming in from AIK in Sweden. It's his first spell outside of Sweden. As he makes his way on, there he is, the man with number 8 on his shirt, Gustav Christensen. Another new signing. He comes in from Midtjylland this season. Left-sided midfielder, just 18 years of age. There he is, the number 26. And we saw him just a moment ago, Linus Gechter, returning from a 6-month loan at, you guessed it, Eintracht Braunschweig, a man who has come through the youth setup at the club. Only got 5 starts on loan at Braunschweig. He's made now 20 appearances for Hertha. 20 minutes to go. Still Hertha Berlin 2-0. Just confirmation of who has come off. Linus Gechter is a centre-back. I understand that he will have slotted into the back line with Michal Karbovnik, now playing a little bit further in midfield. And there you can see the number 6 just to the bottom of the screen. He is now playing the 6 role, you could say. Winkler is the man who has been replaced by Gustav Christensen, as there it is, number 3, and it is a hat-trick. Well, this man simply cannot do anything wrong at the moment, as he celebrates in front of the fans that have fallen in love with him already. What a lovely assist. First touches of the ball from Bilal Hussein for him at the club. It's his debut, remember. And he's able to lay it into the path of the most dangerous man in Bundesliga 2. On his left, smashes it in. 3-0, a hat-trick. What more could you ask for? Haris Tomakovic is on cloud 9. That's it, surely game, set and match now for the home team. Is it too much to suggest that it's instant hero status for this man? Not sure. Top of the goal scoring charts now. The way he has started, you wonder if anybody is going to catch him. Really got the power to bring the good vibes back to Hertha Berlin. After so many troubles at the start of this campaign, they are cruising towards their second win of the season here. 5-0 against Greuther Fürth. Wouldn't rule out another couple of goals in this match the way things are going. Braunschweig, he made a fist of it, but simply have come up too short in this match. They've come up against a man who is really riding the crest of a wave. Haris Tomakovic, the man to keep an eye on this season in Bundesliga 2. Next ball forward as Braunschweig are, of course, going to leave even more spaces now in the faint hope that they can claw their way back into this match. A clap of the heels there from Gustav Christensen. Only 2 sub-appearances coming into this match. He did get his first assist in the Greuther Fürth victory. A man who's really looking to get some game time, as he didn't feature at all for Midtjylland last season. The club he is joining Hertha Berlin from. And that said, still 18 years of age. He's got time on his side. And something to note from the 3 substitutions made by Pal Dardai. He's brought on youngsters. So here they come again. That's well off target by Fabian Riese. Linus Gechter, just 19 years of age. 18 years of age, as I mentioned. Gustav Christensen. And Bilal Hussein, the veteran of the 3 who have just been introduced at 23. So to mention, in the first half, Ben Stardai was brought on at 17. Very youthful squad they have here at Hertha Berlin. It's useful to have a few players in there with a bit more experience, a few more seasons under their belt. Of course, this man as well, 19 years of age. What a good performance Robert Frazigroch has put in this afternoon. A clean sheet on his debut for the club will be exactly what he wanted. "15 minutes remain here at Berlin. Cruising now at 3-0. This is Kabovnik. All the way back to Frazigroch. Not the best of clearances. He's gotten away with it there. I was about to suggest he really hasn't put much of a foot wrong. The Hertha Berlin youngster between the sticks. Uja. Donko. Crossed by Kuricay to Berendt. Route 1 understandably being taken by Braunschweig as the final 10 minutes are approaching. Hertha Berlin, though, have been organised enough at the back today. A solid showing from Jeremy Dudjak, Mark-Oliver Kemp, Tony Leister and Michael Kabovnik. And will give them confidence going into their next match as they come up against Kiel. It's an away trip for the squad here in blue and white. And they're at home here again at the Olympiastadion against St. Pauli, before coming up against the team they got relegated with, Schalke, Gelsenkirchen. Dare say that is one of the matches of the next round of fixtures. Hertha Berlin coming up against Kiel as they are flying high, up in 3rd place in the table as it stands, although they are currently trailing St. Pauli by 4-1. And again, let me remind you, this is Bundesliga 2. There are shock results, unexpected scorelines, thrillers and roller coasters pretty much every single week, as Jens Hertha is going to make one more change here. Off comes Anthony Uja. He's replaced by Ryan Felipe, French forward. Really not Uja's afternoon. Man who has scored 1 goal every 3 games on average in Bundesliga 2. Didn't get the service today, really, from Johan Gómez. And on the other side, from Florian Krüger. And he gets to set out the final 10 minutes and see what Ryan Felipe can do. But pretty much a thankless task, as there's a chance he might get his first touch here. Just loses footings, and instead the ball goes back. Braunschweig's opportunity to bounce back from what is looking more and more like a 3-0 defeat here. It comes against Nuremberg at home at the Eintrachtstadion. On match day 7, Nuremberg currently sitting just under the middle of the table. Hansa Rostock will follow that up away from home, and then it's Paderborn. Also find themselves towards the wrong end of the division. Remember, the goals and targets for these two teams very different this season. Brilliantly intercepted there by Robin Krause. This is Donko. Comes to nothing. Braunschweig gradually starting to run out of steam here, and perhaps run out of belief as well. Tabankovic dropping deep to help out his midfield. Galakis involved as well. Garbovnik unable to get the ball out from underneath his feet. Krause. Donko. The option of Endo just next to him. Now moving the ball freely enough, Braunschweig. They're not really getting anywhere with it. A bit of a keeper dilemma this season for Pal Dardai. Krasi Groch, excuse me, yet to feature for the seniors. I was on the bench from match day 3 onwards, as the club is looking to settle down on a first choice keeper after the man who held that honour last season, Oliver Christensen, left for Fiorentina after match day 2. After 2 years at the club. Fabian Riese does get his rest after all. A magnificent performance from him. Wasn't able to contribute as much over the last 20-30 minutes or so, but really in the first half he was the go-to guy to create the chances. A wry smile from both boss and player says it all. And had, the goal's been shared around instead of Tabakovic hogging the limelight. Maybe Fabian Riese would be going off and picking up the Man of the Match award. Tricky, though, when somebody's going to be claiming the match ball to suggest that he wasn't the man of the match. Florian Niederlechner getting himself into an offside position was his first contribution to the game. Signing from Augsburg in January this year. A couple of sub-appearances after starting on match day 1. Has yet to score or assist, but has been very limited to his playing time. And for Hertha Berlin continue to start with one up front, he's going to be watching a lot of this season off the bench. He's only got 1 goal in his 19 matches so far for the club, despite a very healthy tally of 30, just over 100 appearances for Augsburg. Five minutes and stoppage time still to be played here. The pace of this game really has started to drop as we've got yet another interruption. Off comes Johan Gómez, 22-year-old. So he takes the shortest route on the far side of the pitch. Also frustrating for him today, just like it was for Anthony Uja. Amin comes on. 20-year-old. Pretty much a like-for-like change here, as he will swat into the left side of midfield. Endo surrounded by white and blue shirts. Still gets his team a throw. Just a note on Yusuf Amin. Another man who's making his debut. Long list of debutants this afternoon in this match. It's difficult to maintain an overview. The 20-year-old Iraqi is now appearing for the seniors for the very first time. Sure, I would have preferred to do it under more positive circumstances. Here he is with his first couple of touches. Donko. Ooh, that one just going over and possibly taking a little deflection on its way too. It's been given as a corner. Three minutes of regular time remaining. Who knows how much time is going to be added on at the end of this second half. We had a good 6 minutes at the end of the first 45. But with the clock now being stopped for pretty much everything these days, we could still have quite a bit of time for Braunschweig maybe to come up with a consolation goal. Headed clear though by Hertha. In fact, by the goal scorer who chases this one down. Oh, that's a chance. It strikes the arm, and that one surely will be looked at. Ryan Felipe with the acrobatic effort. Back into the box. And a fine save from Kvasigroch. Now Braunschweig coming up with two chances in quick succession. I think if there was any review with regard to a potential handball just a moment ago, it has already been completed and nothing's been given. What an opening that was. 60 seconds of regular time remain. Free kick, Braunschweig. Yusuf Amin, a player not at all shy of taking on his marker. Krause for the upteenth time this afternoon, standing over a dead ball. On the ground, and easy to defend for the Hertha defence, as the full 90 minutes have now been played, and we'll receive confirmation of how many minutes we're going to have added on here. Announced by the stadium announcer. They didn't catch it, but it will be shared with us in just a moment. Reason to cheer and celebrate once again for the Hertha Berlin faithful. Delighted to have made the trip to come out and support their team in full voice today. Enjoying the late summer sun, enjoying a hat-trick of goals, enjoying celebrating their new hero. Could be the man to fire them out of this mini crisis that they've had at the start of this season and up the table to things more promising. Unless Braunschweig come up with a miracle in the minutes remaining in this match, they're going to fall to their third away defeat this season. And Hertha will understandably focus on the positives in this game. It's going to be tough to lift the players. And again, I should highlight the fact that these two teams are looking at achieving very different things this season. Hertha Berlin, okay, they got off to a very rough start, but they've got more than enough time to address that and climb their way back up the table. At the end of play today, they'll be on 6 points. Although we'll put them just 7 points behind top spot. That's easily achievable over the course of the rest of the campaign. And this will buoy them no end. As for Braunschweig, it's about survival again. Surviving perhaps more comfortably than last season, but surviving nonetheless. They want to establish themselves as a regular fixture in Bundesliga 2. And this is the man who has done the damage today. One from close range, one from the spot, and one fired in to make it a hat-trick. As cool as you like. As Tabakovic leads the goal-scoring charts in Bundesliga 2 now. Now that just about sums up things for Braunschweig today. Ryan Felipe skying an effort. Nicely set up for him by Endel. Free kick here for Hertha Berlin. A quick look at the watch. And referee Marco Fritz is quite happy to call it a day on this afternoon's match. 4 goals of stoppage time as the Hertha Berlin backline celebrates with their young goalkeeper.